Hello everyone, welcome back to another Friday and another casual champion review. Today we're taking a look at the hypocrite man, Jarvan IV. Also, you might notice I decided to leave them on there because last video I accidentally left the little dancing goobers in the corner. And you fellas seem to like them a lot, so maybe they just stay here forever. It'll help distract from the fact that I have to play Jarvan today, because Jarvan's not a character I despise playing. He's just one that kind of, not overly exciting. Oh, you know what is overly exciting though? Fan art section. There's not very many. I think it's kind of evident of how much this league community even cares about Jarvan. He's not. I can't think of anyone whose favorite champion is Jarvan, besides Stonewall. But Stonewall doesn't even make videos anymore, so I don't know. Jarvan character, no one cares. But thank you, fellas, for the few that did fan art section. It's wonderful. Thank you. All right, so I think a lot of people actually, weirdly enough, even though a lot of people don't play Jarvan or know about him, or he's like not many people's favorites, a lot of people do know his backstory, or at least some of it, or know his motivation as a character. And in his base lore, a good chunk of it is actually just about his father. So I can skip over all that part. King Jarvan III, married, and then mom died at childbirth. So Jarvan grew up without a mom in his life and would never get a new mom because Jarvan III swore that he would never remarry. But to ensure that Jarvan grew up well in life, even with the lack of a mother figure, he made sure that, or Jarvan III made sure that there was plenty of resources for him to grow up well. The finest generals, the finest educators, became good friends with Garen, was put under the prodigy of Xin Zhao, which it does say in the, Jarvan basically considers Xin Zhao to be his uncle, which is why when you put them side by side, you see that Jarvan and Xin Zhao look about the same age. It's a little funky, but that's more of Xin Zhao's problem less than Jarvan. As Jarvan grew older, though, he became a renowned soldier, eventually becoming a general in the Demacian army, and he would lead many battles, many victorious battles that would win again and again, but the loss of soldiers hurt him deeply. He's a person who does care about his people, a certain group of his people, but we'll get to that. But eventually in one battle, his soldiers were badly defeated and he had to flee into the woods. I'm gonna go see if I can kill another monarch here. Oh my, speaking of Xin Zhao, but him and his soldiers were picked off in these woods by Noxian scouts. So I forgot to say that this battle in particular, a lot of their battles were in the area between Demacia and Nox's kind of wild badlands. And he gets shot in the shoulder, I think, with an arrow. He gets shot with an arrow regardless, and he's stuck in the woods bleeding out, and he would have died there if not for Shyvana coming across him. And she carried him all the way back to Demacia. And initially the people of Demacia that were there were very shocked that this clearly magical being would help out Jarvan, and were scared of her. Oops. But they thought it okay enough to let her stay for the time being, considering that she saved the young prince's life. But Shyvana was being followed too by her mother, Yiva, I think is the way you pronounce it. And eventually she arrived in Demacia. And Jarvan, oh no. Uncle no. Oh, another dead family member. Jarvan jumped at the opportunity to redeem himself and rallied his soldiers. And together with his soldiers, himself, and Shyvana, they defeated her mother. On that day, Jarvan praised Shyvana for her heroism and for saving his life, and promised her that she would always have a place in Demacia, and she agreed to stay. Jump forward very many years. Garen, best friend. Xin Zhao, still kind of uncle, mentorship figure to him. Father still alive for the time being, and Shyvana right by his side as his personal bodyguard of sorts. But you guys know how Mage Seeker goes. His father is killed in the rebellion, and Jarvan thinks that it was the leader, the person who instigated the rebellion, which was Silas. So he pins his father's death on Silas, even though now we know because of the Katarina comic that it was Katarina who assassinated his father, which you know, I'm really happy that we're not going to be getting any more of those. I definitely didn't absolutely love them or anything. But it's in Mage Seeker, like with Silas, where we kind of learn Silas's true colors. We see a bit more of Jarvan's true colors, because Jarvan was introduced to League back in the day when it was the clear and cut, Demacia are the good guys, Noxus are the bad guys. So old Jarvan was painted a bit more as this bright, virtuous battle king who's just there to protect his people and for the honor of battle. But now, kind of spin that more in the hypocrisy side of things. His whole character arc is revolved around being a hypocrite. As we see in Mage Seeker that he still very much cares for Shyvana, and he cares for Lux because he was supposed to be married to her before she abandoned him there, so I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he likes Shyvana, so I'm sure he wasn't overly bummed about that, but he is adamant about destroying the Mage Rebellion because he blames Silas for the murder of his father. And we see especially during the events of Mage Seeker where the Mage Rebels gain more power and through the leadership of Silas that he eventually agrees with Wisteria, who is the antagonist of Mage Seeker if you haven't played it yet, that they need to start executing the mages. And Shyvana's a bit heartbroken by this, and even Garen's like, whoa, 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 hold on, because he knows that Lux is a mage at this point. I don't think Jarvan knows that Lux is a mage yet, but knows that Shyvana is one and promises, no, it's okay. They'll have a safe place here in Demacia. They will always be safe. Which is like, okay, so you're going to execute everyone else, but of course, the people that are close to you, your girlfriend, not girlfriend, she's safe because you deemed her to be safe above everyone else. That is hypocrisy in its purest form. Especially, what kind of king would that make him if you just see he's standing in a big crowd and he's like, yes, we did it, everyone. We have killed all the mages. So here's my personal bodyguard and closest friend who's also a mage. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But of course, he's too wrapped up in trying to be this king to defend what he deems his true people to really see that. Oh no, oh shit. Oh, character's putting me to sleep. It is revealed later on in the game, though, that Shyvana does leave Jarvan because of this, saying, I can't accept the ruthless king you're becoming. You don't need to be this way. And Jarvan's like, oh, no, I do have to be. I have to be this way to protect my people. Shyvana's like, well, you know, those mages are kind of your people too, but whatever. Then she leaves, and Jarvan gets really sad. But then it's also revealed later on in the game that he destroyed a secret decree by his father. His father was planning to dismantle the Mage Seeker Order, stop mage arrests, and overall just stop the persecution of mages in general. But Jarvan discovered this, said, no, I don't think this is a good time for that because I believe that a mage killed my father, and that would make me look like a weak king to forgive the people that did this to my father. No. But it's near the end of Mage Seeker, after he'd driven away pretty much everyone else in his life. I'm pretty sure by this point he found out Lux was a mage. I haven't played Mage Seeker since it came out, but Lux was a mage, Shyvana's a mage, even Garen is disagreeing with him, his closest friend. Xin Zhao was nowhere to be found in Mage Seeker, which is really baffling, but I'm sure he'd disagree with him because he's from Ionia, which is magical land. Actually, Jarvan surrounds himself with almost entirely magical people. Even Garen has some kind of power linked to Kayle, I assume. I don't know. Very hypocritical person. I hate mages, yet all of my close personal friends and comrades are all mages. Of course, we find out in the end he kind of does realize the error of his ways a bit and decides to abolish the Mage Seeker Order and declares anybody who persecutes mages in Demacia is now an enemy of Demacia. The thing that kind of undercuts that whole segment for me, is because at the very end of the thing, he shows Jarvan saying, oh, was that enough? I hope this is enough to bring you back. And I'm thinking just like, man, I don't think Jarvan really gives a rat's ass about the actual mages in Demacia, especially comparing that he's always been like, no, Shyvana, no, I'll protect you. I care about you specifically. It's really all an attempt to just get his girlfriend back. He doesn't really know how to function without Shyvana at this point, and he's desperate to bring her back. It just comes off as very incelish and very pathetic. It's also kind of pathetic, his character design. Because what is this? He's old. He's an old champion, but so is Garen. It just doesn't look Demacian at all. Garen at least had the advantage that when they updated Demacia, I will destroy this pillow. Flag. Yes. Garen had the benefit, like Darius as well, where a lot of their region's aesthetics were warped around them. I'm grateful they warped Demacia around Garen, because imagine what Demacia would look like if it was warped around Jarvan. It would just be nothing but pure gold and random spikes everywhere. I think it's supposed to be based on dragons. I don't remember. I think in the old lore, his armor was supposed to be made by a dragon, or it was like Monster Hunter armor. Monster Hunter armor looks way cooler than this, by the way, I'm just saying. But it's just, the only thing Demacian about Jarvan's look at all is the use of gold, which most Demacian armor, that's just a small part of it. It's silver with blue and gold accents. And they tried to remedy this in some way by when they introduced Jarvan to LOR. It's the same thing that they did when they introduced Shyvana, that they said, oh, well, Shyvana has armor that looks the way it does, the red and gold, because that's the armor of the Dragon Guard. And they tried to make each branch of the Demacian military look a bit different through each release in LOR, right? Like the scouts look different than the main Demacian elite. Then you have Shyvana's Dragon Guard look different with their red armor. And then you have Jarvan with the Royal Guard, I assume they are, and they all have much more spiky armor, almost fully clad in gold. And King Jarvan III, in his card, his armor is fully gold as well. It's just that the redesign didn't do a very good job in LOR to make him... He still stands out from the crowd, from the rest of the Demacian Royal Guard. And you could say that, well, that's because they want him to stand out because he's the king, he's their leader. But it still, it looks so un-Demacian that you kind of can't fathom. I don't think anyone from an outside perspective would look at Jarvan and look at Demacia and not only just think, yeah, I'm sure this guy is the leader of this region, but is from this region at all. And it's silly because I think Jarvan has the potential to be really cool. Oh, because Jarvan is a battle king. That's a cool idea. But this doesn't look like a king nor a person who's seen a lot of battle. It doesn't even look like fitting armor. Most of it is just a bodysuit. The thing is, because Jarvan's main 3 core characteristics of who he is that he is a Demacian, a general, and a king. He doesn't look like any of those things. And we've had some redesigns that have tried to make him look a bit more Demacian-esque, like we have his more casual outfits, but those make him look more like a royal person, or a person of high status in Demacia rather than a battle king, which I still like them more than his base design. Who's to say he doesn't go out and battle in his royal wear? But I think he's primed for an ASU, though they would never give him one because there are plenty of other champions who they fail in terms of encompassing what their character's supposed to be in an equal amount to Jarvan, but don't. You know, Jarvan's animations at least look fine compared to Zilean. It's no contest. Oh, I completely forgot to mention that it was a very old theory about Jarvan was the idea that he is actually LeBlanc this whole time. And that goes way back from an old piece of art where you see Jarvan and Swain, old Swain that is, fighting each other, and you see Jarvan's reflection on Swain's armor, and you see LeBlanc's face in it. So the idea that Jarvan, this whole time, when he got lost in the woods, or whatever the old lore was, that he was captured by Noxians, that he's still there. That this whole time, Jarvan has actually been LeBlanc. And weirdly enough, I think that kind of works. I think that would actually be really awesome if that was how it is now. That it's not hard confirmed, but the idea that he is LeBlanc would make sense why he is dismantling Demacia from the inside out. Because his father doesn't seem like he was the worst person. So it seems weird that Jarvan would grow up with such weird moral values and suddenly on a dime decide, actually, I hate mages. And LeBlanc is all about sowing the seeds of doubt, integrating herself within powerful societies in other nations to dismantle them from the inside out. It just feels like that would be a really fun storyline that you actually one day discover, oh my god, the real Jarvan has been stuck in Noxus this whole time. I very much doubt that's part of the actual canon anymore. It would also kind of remove the whole romance, or I guess caring nature of Jarvan with Shyvana. Wouldn't really make a lot of sense there, unless LeBlanc is really good at playing her part, which she is a master manipulator. Oh my goodness. I don't know. It would be a fun thing to see, but it also might lessen the effect of his character arc, I guess. As for his gameplay, I've been kind of on autopilot this whole time. Haven't really been thinking too much. I'm fighting Xin Zhao, which is kind of poetic, but I know Jarvan was created way back in the day now, back before thematic fantasy was really an important thing about designing characters. I think it's an underappreciated thing that a lot of champions, I think the role that they are designed for plays an important part in who their character is and helps elevate their thematic fantasy. So Swain, for example, that's why I don't like Swain's support, because usually in a support role, you expect a character whose their arc is about being supportive, or with Thresh, he works as support because he's like, oh yes, I'm helping you, don't worry, I'll help you achieve your goals, when in reality he's just getting people killed. That's great. Swain, he's a leader, he's the front man, so you'd expect him to be at the position, which, you know, in most team comps, the mid laner is considered the leader of the group. Are you having fun, Johnny? So when you put Swain in a support role, it feels weird. Like, no, Swain wouldn't support people. That's not what he does. He leads the charge. Or with Nefiri, right? Nefiri is a hunting creature that goes around trying to eat as many things as possible. Why is she staying in the mid lane and farming minions? It feels like she should be a jungler. And with that, Jarvan, I get that he's a general and going out in battles and stuff, but it feels like for these leader characters, Azir's in the same boat as well, that these leaders feels like they should be mid laners, right? I'm not saying you can't play Jarvan mid, but his primary role is a jungler because his ganks are very powerful, but I like the idea if he'd be a mid laner more, personally. So I do quite like his gameplay, actually. I think it's not... I think he'd be a character for me that I would get bored of very quickly. He is a character, though, where all his abilities do flow into each other very nicely. Every ability, besides maybe his W, but it's mostly just a utility thing, every ability feels like it fits together, you know? The E and in the Q, the flag pull, that feels nice. And then you ult immediately afterwards. I think I can do it. Oh, God. Oh, that one smooth go, your full ability rotation to one cool ability. That's awesome. Although, you know, if Jarvan was made today, I can guarantee you the EQ combo would be one move. I guarantee you that. For an old champion, a lot of the characters released back then had a few moves that felt superfluous, that they were just tacked on there for no reason. Like Cho'Gath, before his E was an actual ability, it was a toggle that would just shoot out the Vorpal spikes. They did less damage, but it was just like, do you want the Vorpal spikes on or off? I guess I'll have them on all the time. Why is that an ability? Like, it feels like a random thing. So Jarvan's a unique case where everything feels like it flows together properly. Not in a particularly super exciting way. It's pretty much every time you do EQ, ult, combo, press W to get a big shield. And I think they reworked it a bit ago, but feels nice. I wouldn't say it makes him feel like a battle king, but I don't know what you do to make a gameplay kit feel like a battle king, to be honest. Ooh. What the? Yeah. Tower, I know you're targeting me. What was that? But he is consistent. I think that's his main draw-in, that you pick Jarvan for consistency. You know that that point-and-click ult's going to do some meaty damage, and it's going to lock people down for a good amount of time. It's kind of like Skarner, but better in most ways. And he does have that versatility. I do like champions that have alternate build paths that don't feel super oppressive. Like you can go lethality assassin Jarvan, you can go bruiser, you can go tanky, but a lot of bruiser champions are like that. You can go AP if you want to. The flag kills. I should have done that for this. What am I, stupid? I should have done flag kill Jarvan. But I think because of that consistency, he was very popular in pro play for the longest time. I'm not sure if he is anymore. I think he's been outclassed by tank junglers. I know Sejuani gets picked a lot in Worlds and stuff. I don't keep that much up with competitive play, but it is nice to see a champion who has been very locked into the competitive scene, but still see some play in casual, even if I don't really get super excited to see Jarvan on my team or the enemy team. He's just kind of a... Oh, it's Jarvan. One thing I do find crazy about him, though, is his skins and his complete and utter lack of good ones. I feel like Jarvan has barely any good skins. He has Boring Kingdoms, which looks nice. But that, like, what else has he got? Darkstar looks fine. Darkstar, I feel, looks so much better when you have more cosmic horror, inhuman-looking creatures like Thresh. I mean, Samsung Galaxy gives him a beard. I like that one just because it gives him a beard. It makes him look a bit like Tryndamere, though. Having fun, Johnny? But so many of Jarvan's skins are so old, and even the newer ones aren't that good. Like Lunar Beast, or it's got Nightbringer Jarvan. It's awful. Pool Party Jarvan is the pinnacle of skins, or pool party skins, that just go the super boring easy the super boring easy route. I kind of just believe I stole Baron there. The super boring easy route where it's just we put champion in a bathing suit. That's I don't like pool party very much. Well, I like some of them. I like Renekton. That's funny. And Jarvan was one of those characters that went a long time without getting skins, actually. He went on a, if I remember correctly, because I believe it was Boring Kingdoms and then Darkstar, and there was like a 4-year time gap between skins, which is weird for a character who's quite popular. To me, Jarvan will just always be the character that everybody knows. Oh, I think I killed my Akali. Like, everyone knows that Jarvan exists in League of Legends, but I barely see anyone ever play him. He's consistent, he does his job, but not particularly exciting way. If you're going to play an assassin, you'd rather play any more exciting assassin that exists in the game. And tanks, there are way more useful tanks than playing him as one. So judging by the fact that my entire team is dead, I don't think we are winning this game. I think it is over. So I guess thank you, fellas, for stopping by this week's Casual Champion Review. Next week, we talk about Jax, which I did talk about recently with the Season Rewind, but we can talk about him in detail. So I'll see you then, fellas. Thank you. Have a good night.